What up, sports fans and fellow foodies? I'm Julie, and I'm dancing. Welcome to my kitchen on Selection Sunday. Each week I talk sports while I'm making some culinary treats. But tonight, I am the mixologist, talking bracketology, and we're gonna do some shots to celebrate March Madness. We're gonna have them in 4 different categories. I'm gonna do my own little bracket for these 4. I know this is kind of like jumping ahead to the final 4, but you know, everybody's already picking their brackets and picking all the ones to go all the way and all that. That's no fun. Happened last year, not fun. So we're gonna talk a little bit about some of the things we saw today when the brackets were announced. And we're gonna go through my 4 special mixes for you. And then we're gonna do a special toast at the end. All right, so we're gonna start with the Blue Bloods. These are the Kentuckys, the Dukes, the Kansases, the North Carolinas, the Yukons, the teams that are going pretty much every year. And Duke, being a 1 seed, they're the blue blood for me tonight, and they're also a blue curacao favorite since they're the Blue Devils. So what we're mixing here, got my shot glass ready to go. I'm gonna start with some blue curacao liquor. I've got a ½ ounce. I'm gonna pour that in there, and then I'm gonna top it with some lemon vodka. Now, what I'm gonna do with the lemon vodka is I'm gonna pour it gently against the side to see if we can get it to just sort of layer on the top a little bit. It's gonna roll in there. Get a little bit of the shading. But with any of these, we're putting our heaviest liquors at the bottom, kind of like how your heavyweights anchoring the bracket. So anything that's more sugary is gonna be at the bottom. So we've got this one going for our Blue Bloods. I'm gonna put a nice little lemon straw in there just for garnish. We're gonna take it out when we drink the shot. All right, we move on. We've got the Upset Special. In this one, we're gonna take our grenadine, which if people don't know, it's kind of like a sweet syrup that can be used in kiddie cocktails, Shirley Temples. So I've got my ½ ounce of grenadine. That's a heavy sugary syrup. That one's gonna go to the bottom. And then I'm gonna go ahead and take my vodka here. And I have my measured out ¾ ounce of vodka. We're gonna pour that gently to the side. You can also pour these over a spoon. Unfortunately, I don't have enough hands to do that on camera. You see we've got our beautiful layers setting up in there. Last thing I'm gonna do on top, I've got a ½ ounce of my lime juice. Give it a little kick there at the end. You can see how our layers have set up. And then I'm gonna set this down here for a second so we can garnish. Just because this one's the Upset, it's got a little bit of a bite to it. We're gonna use some jalapenos to garnish it. We could do one just like this, where I'm gonna break it and put it on the side, so we can do that. You could also float it on the top, just like that. I'm gonna pull that out for now though, because I'm gonna do the twist. So we're gonna do maybe kind of, well, it's not gonna twist so well for me, so we'll just leave it like that. But there's our little bit of bite for our Upset Special. Upset that some people have mentioned for the first round, Penn against the Illini. Penn, the 14 seed, the Illini at 3 seed. I don't think the Illini are gonna get tripped up in the first round, but they have shown a propensity to give up some double-digit leads. It is kind of like a trendy pick that I've heard some people make tonight. The Illini, though, this is the highest scoring Illini team since the '89 Flying Illini, so that's worth watching. Upset Specials, everyone's favorite part of the tournament. All right, so that's our second one. Let's see how our brackets are shaping up here. So I have our Upset taking on our Blue Blood on one side of the bracket, on the other side of our bracket. All right, let's start out with the Dark Horse. This is the one where maybe people weren't putting him as a 1 or a 2 seed, but they got a little momentum going into the tournament. And I'm gonna go with St. John's for a dark horse possibility. They've won 19 out of their last 20. They've got a little bit of momentum after they won the Big East tournament, so St. John's could be your dark horse. All right, let's get our layers set here. I love how this one sets up, and it's got some of my favorite flavors. I'm gonna start with Kahlua, that's our bottom layer, as we're setting up our layered brackets. I'm actually using a salted caramel Kahlua because I thought that sounds delicious. I'm gonna put my Kahlua here in the bottom, and that takes up almost half of my shot glass. And then I'm gonna follow that up with a little Bailey's Irish Cream. Who doesn't love Bailey's? And so I got my Bailey's here all measured out, and that one is at a ½ ounce. So we got the 1 ounce of Kahlua on the bottom. Got the 1/2 ounce of Bailey. Look at how pretty that's looking. And then I'm going to top it off with a little bit of my rum here, my Captain Morgan's. And that's 1/4 ounce. And look at how pretty that's going to set up for me. Beautiful. All right, so there's our dark horse. And then we're going to move on to something sweet that everybody loves, and that's a Cinderella story. All right, so with our Cinderella story, we're taking strawberries into the tournament. You could use grenadine for this one, but I found this lovely Rose's strawberry syrup. Rose's makes a great lime juice for mixers. I'm going to go ahead and use that instead. My strawberry syrup's heavy. It's going to go in the bottom. That's 1/4 ounce right there. I had so much fun in the liquor department today. I also found a strawberry Bailey's and a strawberry Malibu. So this is our strawberry Irish cream. We're hitting St. Patrick's Day this week, so Irish cream, perfect timing. We're gonna go in there. There's our layers setting up. I'm gonna add our strawberry rum on the top. You can use regular rum, you can use regular Bailey's. I love how this one has like a little bit of swirl. It's almost like a cloud effect there at the bottom. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and garnish this one with a strawberry, just to make it look pretty. So Cinderella's, all right, we got some good ones in this tournament. We have Cal Baptist making their first ever NCAA appearance. They've got to take on number 4 Kansas. Their dancing shoes might be tucked away pretty quickly in this one, but everyone loves the Cinderella story, so I'm gonna root for them. And another Cinderella story, this one is a Clark Kellogg special. I love watching Clark Kellogg on Selection Sunday. I love him on college basketball, period, because he always talks about how you have to protect the pumpkin. He had Purdue winning it all in his early picks. He said they're gonna be 60 miles from their campus when they're playing in Indianapolis in the Final Four. He picked him to win it all. That's what we love to hear. Not these guys on ESPN who are taking all 1s and 2s in their Elite Eights and whatever. It was so boring. So shout out to Clark Kellogg. He has Purdue as his national champion. So I'm gonna make that part of my strawberry special here for my Cinderella. So here's what we got going on. We have our Cinderella and our dark horse on one side. We've got our blue bloods and our upset on the other side. So it's time for me to start making some picks here. All right, I got my 4. Let's start with the blue blood. Take out my little lemon straw here. Cheers. Not bad, a little tart, but not bad. All right, this one's gonna be a challenge because we all know, if you've watched my videos, I don't love spicy, but I'm gonna leave the jalapeno in there. I took the seeds out, how bad can it be? All right, so we got the blue blood going up against the upset with a little bit of kick here. Let's give it a shot. No pun intended. Yikes. That does have some kick. All right, that one's a no-brainer for me. Sorry, my little upset specials. We're gonna go ahead and move our blue blood on. Those both had some significant woo factor. All right, on to the next. Hit me with your best shot. All right, here's my dark horse. I'm loving this one. This is the one that's got all the Baileys and Kahlua in it. All right, here we go, other side of the shot bracket. That is delicious. Oh my goodness. This side of the bracket is definitely the sweeter side of the bracket. That's pretty darn good. All right, this one. All right, my little strawberry friend, come on out. This is our beautiful Cinderella special. Bottoms up. You know, I thought that was gonna be my favorite, but this is a close call. I think I'm gonna have to go with the dark horse special on this one. Upset for me, because I thought it was gonna be the strawberry one. All right, so what do we have here? I got my blue blood and my dark horse. So here's my shot game championship. You know, you got buzzer beater shots, you got game winning shots. All right, so we got my blue Curacao blue blood, and we got my dark horse here. All right, I actually have some chips here to like cleanse my palate, but this could also be to absorb some of the alcohol. All right, let's do this, kids. Blue blood, looking pretty there. This one, the nice layers, awesome. All right, this is for all the marbles in the shot bracket. I forgot how tart that one was. All right, back to my dark horse here. Here we go. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. That's gonna be my champion in my bracket. Whew, those are strong though. Pace yourself. Don't do what I did, pace yourself. All right, so in the Sports Gal shot bracketology, dark horse is the winner. I want you guys to give these a try. Have some fun with your friends when you're watching the tournament. The Thursday and Friday of the tournament, the first round, are always my favorite part because it's wall to wall. If you can go to a sports bar at like 10 in the morning and just camp out there till 11 at night, you watch all the games, that's one of the best sports days of the year. When you get that just wall to wall basketball, the sports bar has all the TVs on with all the different games. Can't miss it. I also love One Shining Moment. You guys know that. I sang it a few weeks ago. That's okay. We'll get to it as we get closer to our Final Four. All right, 2 more orders of business. My guy, Nicky Buckets, Nick Martinelli, played his last game in a Northwestern uniform. Tear. I love Nicky Buckets. Nick Martinelli, amazing contributions as a senior at Northwestern, guiding his young teammates, even though they didn't make the postseason this year. I gotta raise a glass to Nick Martinelli. Yes, I cried when he came off the court. He's tearing up and he's falling into Chris Collins' arms. Yeah, it was a heartbeat moment for me. So for Nick Martinelli, I have a shot glass that says shoot it, because he's Nicky Buckets. He shoots and he shoots well. It was gonna be purple. I mixed some grenadine with blue curacao. It's gonna be purple because red and blue make purple, but this is looking kind of like, I don't know what that is. But that's okay. We're gonna shoot it. Nazdrovia. Nicky, we're gonna miss you. All right, here we go. This one might be like, on top of all these, a little funky, but we'll see. I love that one. Holy cow. I think it's because it had a lot of grenadine at the bottom. Oh my gosh, that's good. All right, so Nicky Buckets, thank you for all your contributions at Northwestern, and thank you to me for this delicious shot. That was grenadine and blue curacao, and that was better than the other 4 I tried combined. No, it was pretty good. So anyway, if you want to just feel a little Northwestern purple pride, go ahead and mix one of those up yourself. All right, we're getting set for the tournament to tip off rather. And I also have a tournament plug. For those of you who are on Twitter, I am once again part of the From the 108 tournament, the 108 tourney, hashtag 108 tourney. From the 108, there are a bunch of great Sox fans. Beef Loaf, Cherizy E, and My Sox Summer. They do a podcast. It's From the 108, based on the section 108. Amazing guys. They're fun to tailgate with. They love talking White Sox. I'm part of their White Sox fan chat on Twitter, and I am in the tournament there for a 2nd straight year, the 108 tournament. I have a first round bye. Yay, me! So I'm very excited, but I need people to vote for me. So my bracket, my game matchup will be on Tuesday, St. Patrick's Day. Find me on Twitter at Julie Swieca, at capital Julie, capital SWIECA. And again, it's hashtag 108 tourney. I would love it if you guys will turn out and throw some votes my way. I got bounced in the first round last year. I'm hoping to make a move this year. So thank you all for that. As always, hashtag play-by-plate for all my videos. And I'm so excited for the tournament to tip off. And I'm so excited to finish those shots. Because, you know, I have a few in reserve over here. I have a couple extras that I whipped up. And I am not throwing away my shot. I'll see you next week. Thanks for joining me here in my kitchen.